Senator Ted Cruz also stumping Washington at that hearing.
You weren't a military pilot or a commercial airline pilot?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked for an airline?
No, Senator.
Have you ever worked as an air traffic controller?
No, Senator.
Here now, Texas Senator, the great Ted Cruz. Congressman, Senator, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. I was upgrading you to Congress, not Senator. Sorry, you're downgraded from the House. Sorry about that. You sat through this confirmation hearing. Were you a bit shocked at the lack of information and knowledge that Phil Washington had about the FAA?
Well, Sean, unfortunately, it really is disturbing. They have nominated for this position someone who is completely unqualified. He has absolutely zero background in aviation safety. It wasn't surprising that he couldn't answer those questions because in his entire career, he spent over 20 years in the military, but didn't work in aviation at all. And then he's worked at the LA Metro and dealing with trains and buses. And he just recently got a job at the Denver airport. But what he does at the Denver airport, he's the CEO of the airport. So he runs the shopping mall that's there. He runs the restaurants and the parking spaces. But he has no involvement with aviation safety, no involvement with air traffic control, no involvement with the pilots. He's running the physical plant. And, you know, the job of FAA administrator, it is a highly specialized job. The job is to keep the flying public safe. And actually, Congress, by law, requires that a nominee have experience in aviation and aviation safety in particular. And this nominee has zero. And look, to be honest, I'm not remotely qualified to run the FAA. I'm not a pilot. I don't know how to do air traffic control. Nobody in their right mind would nominate me to do this. And what's really disappointing is to see the Biden administration treating this critical safety position as essentially the spoils system, a patronage place. Well, let's stick a Democrat because it'll make our Democrat friends. Look, you want to stick this guy somewhere else where he's not responsible for keeping safe the 2 million Americans that are up flying every day, fine. But to put him in this safety position, I think is wildly irresponsible. And I don't think the Senate's going to confirm him.
Well said.
There was a ground stop because of a software screw up first since 9/11. Yep. There have been 6 near-miss accidents. That's double the number total for the last 5 years. Does this nomination of Washington go ahead, Senator?
I don't think it will. I can tell you he's wildly unqualified on the face of it. He's also right now currently enmeshed in a public corruption investigation that's being conducted by the LA sheriff, a Democrat, and the California Attorney General, a Democrat. The California Attorney General's office told us that he's still actively a material participant in this public corruption investigation. And I got to say, at the hearing, the Republicans all expressed very real concerns, but multiple Democrats did as well. And I got to say, you know, Sean, look, you've run for office a bunch of times before. If you're a Democrat senator, let's say you're up for re-election in 2024, and if, God forbid, sometime in the next 2 years we see a horrific airline crash, you sure don't want to be the Democrat senator that voted to confirm a guy to the FAA that knows nothing about airline safety. That's the kind of vote that ends a Senate career. And so I don't know why the Biden administration is wasting their time on this nomination. The FAA is incredibly important. It's been over a year without a Senate-confirmed nominee. And let me say, presidents of both parties, Republican and Democrats, the people they nominate to be head of the FAA, they typically have 30, 40 years in aviation. They've been military pilots. They've been commercial pilots. They've worked at airlines. They're familiar with airline manufacture. They understand aviation safety. This nominee doesn't understand any of it.
No, he doesn't. And again, I'm shocked that Biden would put him forward. And again, it's bad politics to have unqualified people in really serious positions and then something go wrong. It's kind of 101, isn't it, Senator?
You know, it really is. And look, the Biden administration is seeing this with the horrific train derailment in East Palestine. And Pete Buttigieg, who's in charge of the Department of Transportation, who's been utterly AWOL, doesn't have background. It's almost like putting a small town mayor in charge of an incredibly important cabinet agency.
Who would
is a
do
bad
that?
idea.
Who would do that, Senator? That'd be dumb. No one's going to do that.
You know, it is incredibly concerning, and the near misses we've had at the hearing we had last week. I played a video of a Southwest Airlines flight and a FedEx plane almost colliding, and we need a serious watchdog keeping our kids safe. We all bring our families and put them on airplanes, and this guy has been a social justice warrior. Frankly, when you're sitting on a plane, you don't really care if your pilot is a transgendered witch. What you care is that you have a pilot that knows how to fly the plane and an air traffic control system that's going to keep you and your family safe.
Senator, thank you for joining us and being so smart on this. I'm going to call you Senator, not Congressman. I'll get it right this time at the end.
And I'll punch him in the break for you. How about that?
We appreciate it, Senator Cruz. Thank you.